J podcast. I'm Stanley,
I'm Jonathan.
and we decided to start a podcast talking about a lot of things, mostly talking about sports. We both play a lot of sports. Well, I play basketball. I don't play a lot of sports. I tried to play football one time, and that didn't work out for me. I'm like 150 pounds, so that didn't work out for me. He still plays a little football.
Yeah, I played a little football, played basketball. I'm into mainly all types of sports.
And didn't you do some? You did some boxing, karate, right?
Yeah.
You be doing the karate. He'll knock you out on the karate field too. So, man, that's a lot of different stuff. But you know what's interesting is we listen to a lot of sports podcasts, and a lot of these people who I listen to, they actually never played sports before. So they'll be on there talking about, you know, how Michael Jordan wasn't even that great and all this type of stuff. And I'll say, did you ever play basketball? And they'll be like, no, I never played any sports. And so it was like, okay, well, we have a lot of sports experience, so let's get on here and talk. And one of our favorite sports, of course, is basketball. So what's your experience with playing basketball? When did you get into basketball? How did you start with basketball, Jonathan?
I've been into basketball ever since little kid, to be honest.
For
Man.
a little kid, huh?
Yeah, little kid. I played, Salvation Army.
Oh, yeah.
Down there.
All of us played, man. All of us
played down there. Then I went to Harvard Palace and played YBA there a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I played for my high school a little bit. But
Okay.
How about you?
Man, well, I started at the Salvation Army too. And crazy story is when I started playing basketball, I was 4 and I didn't even want to get on the court. Wow. My uncle took me to tryouts. Uncle Al, he took me to tryouts, and we got there, and I saw all the kids were, they were doing their tryouts, running up and down the court, and then the crowd was, it was all the parents, and they're like telling their kids like, go, dribble, do this, and I was like, I'm not getting on this court. So I ended up, the first time I got taken to the basketball court, I didn't even step on the court.
Wow.
The next time I played, I got on the court and I never looked back. I've been on the court 4 or 5 all the way up through high school, man, playing basketball. And then, this is the youngest of all my brothers. It's me, and then it's 5 brothers under me. This is the youngest, so he watched all of us play basketball. So he's learned a little bit from all of us. He learned the jump shots, the step backs, the post ups. He got all of it. So if he puts it all together, man, who knows? Who knows? But yeah. So we got a little history with the basketball. You got a favorite sports team? Favorite basketball team?
Hey, I'm a Kings fan.
Oh,
from
repping for the city. Yeah.
So I gotta rep the Kings.
How is it being a Kings fan right now? And the Kings are they kind of struggling,
We kind of struggling, yeah.
Every year.
We alright. We're not even halfway into the season yet. I think our chemistry. Marvin Bagley just came back. Yeah. I think our chemistry is gonna come together.
Why was Marvin Bagley sitting out?
He had a leg injury.
Leg injury. Yeah. I do like De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has been, ever since I saw him at Kentucky, I was like, he's gonna be a good player.
He's gonna turn into an all-star one day.
Yeah. He's on his way. I think when you just play for Sacramento Kings,
you don't get much popularity stuff.
You're not getting a lot of games on TV. You're not getting the hype, and you don't have the supporting cast really.
Right.
You gotta
start winning games.
I've been saying about the Sacramento Kings is Vlade Divac has got to go because this guy's been, I don't know, is he general manager or president of basketball operations? He's leading the way in the basketball. He just can't seem to put the team together real. So, there goes the car alarm going off. Hopefully you guys, I don't know, maybe you guys can hear the car alarm going off. It's all loud outside. We're not, hold on. Okay, there we go. We're good. We're back on. But yeah, Vlade Divac, he's got to get that team together, man, because it's like, Vlade, you don't come from a legacy of winning. Like, you didn't win championships, so maybe you don't know what to do to get there. Yeah. And I like Vlade. I went to a Vlade Divac camp when I was a kid at Folsom High School. We went to like a Vlade and Pager camp, and they were showing us how to do stuff, and they were telling us about other NBA players and everything. So that was real fun.
Right.
So, but yeah, a lot of history. I didn't even really introduce myself with basketball. I just talked about the Salvation Army, and then when I got older, I never played AAU basketball. So there was this thing in my family. We were like, we're all preachers' kids. So our dad does ministry, mom does ministry.
Right.
And one of the rules in the house was if your sports team plays on Sunday, you can't be on that team.
Right.
So there were a lot of AAU teams who would be like, hey, come play on our AAU team. You know, we only have tournaments twice a month or something, but the tournaments would be on Saturday and Sunday, and we weren't allowed to do that. So I never ended up playing AAU basketball. You played AAU basketball, right?
Yeah.
Most of my brothers ended up playing because my parents kind of eased up as we got older. They're like, it's okay, you can play for your team. So all you guys got the opportunity to play. But for me, I ended up playing for a homeschool team out here in Sacramento called American Christian Academy. That was really fun because we would get all the homeschoolers who either, some of them might have been kicked out of their school, some of them might have just been like really good, but they didn't go to a public school. So we were, I call us a whole bunch of like outlaws. We were like the people who weren't really, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be playing, but we ended up getting a homeschool team and playing all these other schools who maybe were private schools and willing to give us a shot. And we would beat a lot of teams. We would play a lot of public schools and beat a lot of teams because we were really good. And then after my sophomore year or junior year, I went and played my senior year at Valley Christian Academy in Roseville, California. And we did good. We won the league that year. We played a lot of great teams. Almost made it to the state championships and just feel a little bit short of that. But we had a lot of fun playing basketball. So, yeah, like I said, we watch a lot of sportscasters talk about basketball and talk about sports, and they have no experience. But we can talk about sports and talk about actually being out there on the court, being out there on the football field.
Playing.
Yeah, so when we watch an NBA basketball, say it again?
We've actually played before. So
We've actually played.
It's a different experience.
It's a whole different experience. Yeah. Real quick, who do you think is going to win the championship for the NBA?
Man, I gotta go with the Nets, man.
You going with the Nets?
I'm going with the Nets. Right now, I gotta go with the Nets.
All right, we're going to hold you to it.
With or without Kyrie, I think they'll pull it out. How about you?
You see the Nets beating the Warriors? The Warriors are number one right now in the whole league.
No, the Warriors beat the Nets.
The Warriors beat the Nets?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, I see the Warriors winning if they're healthy.
If they're healthy.
I see the Warriors winning if they're healthy. I gotta go with the Warriors, man. I know people count them out.
That's a fair pick.
But it's like when you look at their offense, nobody can stop them. That's the problem. It doesn't matter how good you are, they can't be stopped. And they don't even have Clay yet. So that's
I also gotta see how Clay fits into the team when they get back.
How Clay fits into the team.
They
got Jordan Poole.
Team, yeah.
Jordan Poole came around real nicely.
Everyone's roles is gonna change once he comes back, so we gotta see how that works.
Right. Yeah. You have a favorite player in the league?
And I like Kawhi Leonard. You know, I know he's hurt this year, but he's just he lets his game do the talking. You know, he's not always on Twitter talking every night or whatnot. He just quietly just does his thing.
Right.
How about you?
Favorite player, man? I have to say my favorite player to watch right now is Steph Curry. And honestly, if you would have asked me a year ago and said who's your favorite player in the NBA, I would have said Russell Westbrook. But I got to say, watching Steph Curry play, he doesn't even dribble the basketball and he makes other people look bad. He just catches the ball, does all of this stuff. He doesn't even dribble. And the guy is like trying to guard him. He doesn't know what to do. And then Curry just shoots it and runs back and hits it. That's cold, man. That's some cold stuff to do to somebody. To shake somebody and make somebody look bad without even dribbling the basketball.
Yeah,
that's cold. I realized that with Curry, he either doesn't dribble and just shoots, or he does one, maybe two dribbles and gets to the basket.
Right.
He doesn't even have to do that much.
And that's a shout out to the team too, because they're helping him out. You know.
That's a shout out to the team.
You know.
Yeah. Who's the most overrated team in the league? Overrated team in the NBA.
For me, I'd have to say the Lakers. I think, and I know they have LeBron, but they're still a good team, but they're just overrated.
Overrated.
I think Anthony Davis is a bit overrated for his size and what he can do. I think he could do a little more than that.
Anthony Davis, they got him being the top big man in the league.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, you know?
Yeah.
But
he's a little hit or miss. Sometimes he's good, and then sometimes...
Some games he'll fall off, you know? I don't want to say he's not consistent. He's pretty consistent, but I think you can get
not
more
dominant enough, huh?
For his size, he's like the tallest one out there pretty much every game. He's got to be doing more than that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. The Lakers, I would have to say, I think, well, the Philadelphia 76ers, I would say, but they're kind of going through stuff with Ben Simmons right now, so I can't really overrate them. They're actually doing good without Ben Simmons. But overrated team in the league, I think it would have to be like a Denver or something. I think people give Denver a lot of credit. Like they're a good team. Even Nikola Jokic, he's a good player. He's a great player, passer, everything. I just think they overrate the team. They're like, Denver is one of the top teams, could go to the championship. Everyone knows Denver's not going to the championship. No. Not when you got the Warriors out here. Not when you got even the Lakers will beat them in a 7-game series, in my opinion. I think some teams, they gear around certain players and make them really good. You know, like they gear that team around him and he's good in that system. But it's like they're a little overrated to me as Denver. Like I said, I could have said Philadelphia, but it's just like, no, you're not winning the championship. Yeah. You know, Chicago, they're doing pretty good. They surprised a lot of people this year.
They shocked, what team do you think is the most underrated team?
Oh, the most underrated team in the NBA? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one. The most underrated team would have to be... I almost want to say the most underrated team has to be Memphis.
Memphis.
And the reason I say Memphis is because Memphis believes they could beat almost anybody. When I watch them play with John Moran, I think he might have had a little injury, but when I watch them play, I'm like they really can go at anybody and have fun doing it too. You know, they seem like they have a lot of fun when they play. I think John Morant has got his groove and he has the green light to do what he needs to do. And then what's my other man's name on that team? I forget his name all the time. Dillon Brooks. Dillon Brooks goes hard on the court. So yeah, Dillon Brooks is good. I think Memphis is underrated. I know their record's kind of struggling, but they're in the West. They got to play some good teams. You know, they got to play some good teams. Man, I've been watching NBA since. I remember the first player I really liked watching all the time was Allen Iverson. Man, when Allen Iverson would come on TV, it'd be like, hold on, turn on ESPN, we're watching the game, we'd watch everything because it was amazing to watch him play.
The first version of Kyrie.
Yeah, no, definitely. Him, who do you remember when you first started watching basketball? Who do you remember really being drawn to?
I actually remember Kawhi Leonard because, I was born a little later on than you, but...
calling me an old man.
I think it was the 2013 finals, the San Antonio versus Miami.
He was in San Antonio. Right. Yeah, he was guarding LeBron. He was doing a pretty good job guarding LeBron. That was good. You're right. Yeah.
I would say the underrated team, I think, for the NBA is the Chicago Bulls right now.
Chicago Bulls. Okay.
They got a nice team.
They can pull it together.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, they do.
I think if they're gonna get it right in the next few weeks or so, they're a really dangerous team that I think people are sleeping on.
That's true.
Right.
That's a great one. Let's see. So I know we do want to talk about more on this podcast than just sports. So sports. We're gonna talk about basketball. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about what's happening in sports and everything like that. But, let's also get into a little bit of the personal life, You can go ahead and introduce yourself and say, what apart from sports, who is Jonathan? Who is the J in SNJ? Who is that? Who is that person? Maybe talk a little bit about your family life. Talk a little bit about what you have, what's a week-to-week life like for Jonathan, man?
Week-to-week life for me.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just in school.
Okay.
And,
what year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore,
Yeah,
okay.
sophomore in
All
school
right.
now, so I'm close to finishing up high school, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah, right now just finishing school. I'm also starting to get into reselling shoes.
Reselling shoes. I've been seeing you
right.
do that a lot.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you have some nice shoes come through here. You package them up, you sell them back out. You're like, I made my $100.
Yeah, right.
So that's good, man.
As long as I'm gaining,
Yeah, and one thing I know about him, before I let you continue on, is Jonathan has that independent mindset where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna have my own business.
Right.
I'm gonna make my own money. I'm gonna produce for myself, which is really good. As a matter of fact, you even came to me and you're like, hey Stan, let's get a podcast going. Let's talk about some sports. Let's get this thing rolling. And we got that thing going the same week. This is the same week. We just said, let's go ahead and do it. So he has that go-getter mindset, which is great. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue on.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting into reselling, and that's basically a weekly life for me. I attend church, and that's basically it. I do other activities here and now, but.
Yep, and you're pretty active at church too, which is a good thing. Church helps you in so many other ways that just
your faith.
Like I know for myself, I grew up in church also, and I learned how to speak in front of people because they always put you up there to read the scriptures or do a little sermon or a sermonette or whatever, lead communion, table talk. So you would learn a lot of stuff, and then you learn people skills, how to deal with people and be a part of a community. So it's a lot you learn from being a part of a church that goes a long way even when you get older, even outside of the church. So that's a good thing. And then I know our church had basketball courts, so every Sunday after church, every Wednesday after church, we were on that basketball court playing 21, and the older kids used to beat up on me so much, and I just used to keep growing and learning. I learned from all of that. So that was always a fun thing. Think about where music is at right now. You're 16 years old, so as a 16-year-old, where's music at? What are the youth listening to? What's the good? What's the bad?
It's really all good depending on the personality, What kind of music you listen to.
Okay. Yeah.
They got all types of music, like for anyone who listens, whether it's you're into money, jewelry, or whatnot. They got that type of music.
Yeah, they got a little bit of everything. You gotta kind of search, on YouTube. Search on. I don't even know. Is it just YouTube that everyone's using, or?
Nah, it's Spotify, Apple Music.
Spotify.
I mean, when I first got into music, you just pop, maybe a shuffle play of a lot of artists like Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, them, and then you'll find out what music you really like.
Okay. So yeah, I know I find a lot of music through playlists.
Yeah,
you put it on a playlist and then you're like, who's that right there?
I had like 5 other brothers.
Yeah, you learn a lot from your older brothers too. That's true. And I know me, I listen to a lot of old school music.
Right.
I listen to a lot of old school, whether it's old school hip hop, old school R&B. I listen to a lot of jazz music. I listen to a lot of older stuff. So if you hang around me, you're gonna get hooked up with some old school music. And that's what I'm gonna be playing. Before basketball games, when I used to be at ACA and I used to be at Valley Christian, I used to play a lot of, what did I play a lot of? It's The Heart of a Champion.
Oh, right.
Remember the Name, Fort Minor. I would listen to a lot of instrumental music that just would pump you up, but it was instrumental. So yeah, we had a lot of different music that would pump you up and everything like that. So yeah, that's that. Let's see. Did I say who I thought was gonna win the championship? Oh, I did. I said. I already said that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for our first podcast, the SNJ podcast. Jonathan, did you have anything you wanted to share before we get up out of here?
Like you said, we're gonna just be talking about sports. Pretty much whatever, man. Like if you guys ever want us to talk about something, just feel free to let us know. You know what I'm saying? And be sure to follow us on Instagram.
Definitely, we're gonna be using YouTube and putting our YouTube out. Jonathan has the Instagram going and rolling. So we just getting started. This is our first episode. We'll probably do maybe 10 episodes and do a 1 season of 10 episodes and get that thing rolling. Y'all let us know what you want us to talk about, what's going on in sports that you want us to talk about, what's going on in life. We're going to dibble and dabble in some of the news. Sometimes there's stuff that's going on in the news that we need to talk about, like all these people breaking into the Galleria Mall over here and taking stuff out. Like, you know, we didn't even go to the mall that day. We're like, we don't even want to go today. So, yeah, we're going to dibble and dabble into a lot of different things. We hope everyone stays blessed, enjoys the holidays. We'll be back on here later on this week with another episode of S&J Podcast.
Yes.
Peace.
All right.